This engine has run only 8,000 kilometers, but because this is not open now anyway and I can reach it easily, I will check the spark plug. Okay, this was not tight at all. Okay, it's a little brown and oily dirty, but this looks like new. I'll just clean it a little bit with a wire brush and put it back in. Because this was sitting for a long time, I will put some oil in this hole. I just have some engine oil in there. Only like 15 Newton meters or something. Don't over tighten this. You definitely don't want to destroy that thread, because then you're in big trouble. I also want to put new oil in that small gearbox back here. So I drain the oil through this drain plug and fill it back in through this fill hole. So the drain plug is a 13mm socket. This looks like new. The amount of oil is just, you fill it up until it comes out back here, and then it's filled. Fill it up, I will use this thing and the hose, and I will put in normal 10W40, about 1 or 200 milliliter, it's not much. By the way, if you liked the video, please like it, subscribe and leave a comment, because this will help the video to get seen by others. Thank you very much. So now it's filled up until to this point, and I will let it drain a while, because I want to have the fluid sitting like in this position, this level. And of course, clean the area. Now the vario cover can go back on. I cleaned it with compressed air a little bit, blow it out, and also this cover I blowed, so there's no dust inside. And tighten crosswise, because it's a flat surface that we mount, and flat surfaces always mount crosswise. Next step for me is to remove the rear wheel, because this brake rotor is toast. It's completely worn because it was breaking metal on metal. And I have a new one. To change it, I need to take the rear wheel off, and it's a bunch of work. It's removing the exhaust, removing this, removing all these plates, and then you can slide this rear wheel to the side. So let's do it. The exhaust is mounted on this plate, and this plate is connected down here, and here. So I remove these screws. And of course, the exhaust is mounted to the cylinder head right there. See how good you can access that screw. I can only reach it with a key from this side. Now I remove the brake caliper. Put the screws back. And now comes the nut. Okay, this was loose already. And now comes the wheel. And that's how it looks behind the wheel. I only removed the wheel to replace that rotor, so that's the next. Clean the area. Strange with the screws because they have a flat head, and this is a sunken thing. The old one had a flat surface. I think I will turn it around, mount it like that. No. A lot of play here. Oh, same here. Okay. I think. What to do now? So I decided to mount it in the right direction and use washers. It should be fine. And I'll use some glue. Just checked. Was wondering if the washer is sitting on this surface now. If this was the case, I wouldn't do it like that. I can't use washers then, but the brake rotor is a little higher than this, so I'm fine with that, it's no problem. Goodbye old rotor. I just figured out that this bearing, no, this one, is quite bad, and the owner said that there are some strange noises from the back, so I think it's that bearing. I'll exchange it. So I need to order a new bearing, and I definitely don't go to Aprila and like pay hundreds of euros for $1 bearing. So if you look here, that's which bearing it is, and you can order this bearing everywhere. And then this is maybe €2 or something. Okay. It's not moving at all. So try the other side. So this sits between the bearings, and it's very important because it makes sure that only the inner ring sits against the inner ring. If you forget this, your bearing will last 50 kilometers and then it's damaged again. And that's how it looks inside. Before mounting the new bearings, make sure to clean everything pretty well. You don't want to have any dirt in the surface where the bearing sits. When mounting the bearing, make sure that you can read the numbers from the outside, so that's the direction you want to mount it. I use the vise now because I want to put it in straight. Okay, don't do it like that. Now I need to focus on the other side. So now it's very important to straighten that thing first. So now I reach the outer surface, so we get a socket that fits on the outer ring. Just like that one. Now I can feel that it's all the way in. You will feel that it's at the end. Check that it's moving good. Now, don't forget that spacer. This white ring is just to hold this spacer in the middle of the hole. And I'll go ahead with this bearing. Same procedure. Oh, this is way easier. And when this is mounted, I hope that the noise is gone. Now you can see, maybe, that the two inner rings meet with that spacer pipe. So I put that back into place. Now I go ahead with the rear brake because this is really dirty and the brake pad is completely worn off, so I will remove the brake pad now. To do so, remove that clip and don't lose it. Then the pad will fall out. Wow! I just figured out that the second brake pad is still in there, but look at this. That's what left over of the brake pad. What the fuck? How can you drive that long with that shit? I'll clean it with air first. I think I should remove these pistons also because they are rusted and this won't work out for long, so I'll remove that also. Sorry, I didn't film how I took the pistons out, but they were stuck pretty badly and basically I wiggled them out with pliers and with compressed air, so that's how I got them out. I won't change these seals because it was not leaking, so no problem here I think, but I will clean the pistons and put them back in. I use this polishing pad. I think I can clean them with it. Looks way better already. Now clean them really well. And now they're nice and clean and smooth again, so time to put them back in. Now before I put them back in, I will fill this with brake fluid. Put that piston in. Push it all the way in. Fill the piston area with fluid. And push the piston in. Make sure it's straight. And then push it in. And of course open the brake reservoir beforehand because the fluid needs to go somewhere. So, and now this brake caliper should be good again. Because this brake system was completely opened up, I opened the bleeding nipple completely, or one turn probably, and just pump fluid through the system until it comes out the breathing nipple. And then I will go ahead with the normal flush and bleed procedure, as explained in the other video. The nipple is open and air can go out. I finished bleeding and now I clean my mess with soapy water because this brake fluid was all over the place. It was a big mess and I didn't film it because, yeah, it was just a big mess. A completely empty brake system is no fun at all. Procedure here is all the same as on the front. I'll use some Loctite. Open the bottle. And the brake pads are mounted all the same as on the front. And it's even worse to film because there's not much space and it's quite dark. So I think I'll skip that filming. Actually, I didn't want to film the oil change of this scooter, but I couldn't find any information where the oil filter is located. So I will film the change of the oil filter at least. And this oil filter sits when you go to the right side of the scooter. You look underneath and it sits right here. So I'll remove that cap. Easier with the ratchet. So the cap fell off and the oil filter with it. That's the old one and I got a new one. So I'll clean that surface and mount a new one. That's how the cap looks on the inside. And before mounting the new filter, should put some oil on these seals and just put it in. And mount the screws and tighten them. No. The ratchet needed some oil anyway. Now I'll go ahead with the exhaust. When you all mount an exhaust, you want to mount this flange at the cylinder head first and tighten it also before you mount the rest, because if you mount the other brackets first and then you tighten this flange, you will put a lot of stress on the exhaust. When it heats up, it needs to move and stuff, so then it can crack. So always mount this first and tighten it also. On the rest of the screws, one more down here. So I inspected the membrane again and it still looks perfect, but this needle is quite dirty again and I cleaned it beforehand, so I think this brass thing where the needle runs inside is pretty dirty, so now I gotta clean it. So I think it was the small jet that sits in here. It was not completely stuck, but the hole was a little closer than it should be, so maybe it was this, and this is connected to the vacuum stuff of the carburetor, so yeah. Problem fixed. Time for test ride. Runs pretty good, but I don't have no seat. It hurts. I'm sitting on the battery. So before mounting everything back together, I'm doing the test ride. Runs pretty good, but sitting on the battery hurts. I heard that this screw is loose, so that makes some noise, but other than that, runs pretty well. Only things left are washing, mounting the covers and the seat and stuff back, seat when it's back from the upholstery, and then this scooter is also ready to go back to the owner. Actually, what drives me the most doing this kind of work is these moments when such a thing is running again. I mean, it was like trash. It didn't break at all, it didn't run at all. It was value nothing, zero, maybe 50 euros or something. And now, with my hands and some parts, this thing is really good again. So that's what drives me. If you can relate, leave a comment. I really like to make shitty stuff really good again.